Right, so Mihoyo have announced the banners for the rest of the 2.5 updates. We have the Kokomi banner, we got the Raiden Shogun banner, and we have the weapon banner. And we're going to be talking about all three of them in this video, and if they're actually worth pulling on, because a couple of them might be, some of them maybe not, but you know, we're going to get into that in this video. So if you guys enjoyed today's video and you want to subscribe or help me out, you can always feel free to leave me with a sub, because only a small percent of people who watch videos are subscribed. And if you're new return to the channel, we do Genshin Impact content over here. So yeah, we're trying to push for 10k, and if you want to help me get there, you always feel free to sub. We're getting pretty close now, but if you don't want to, you don't want to sub, you don't have to. But let's get into it. So we got the Kokomi Rerun Shogun banner with the 4 stars of Kujou Sara, Xinyan, and Bennett. Now, I'm basically a prophet because I predicted 2 of the 3. I predicted Kujou Sara and Xinyan being on the banner. I thought Sucrose might have been on it, but she isn't, so I mean, hey, I'm mostly a prophet, so it's all good. But yeah, we're going to be talking about the characters a bit in depth here, because we've got Raiden Shogun, we've got Kokomi, and I got a lot of things to say about both of them. So we're just going to look at the characters, because I have them on my account. So I got the Raiden Shogun right here, and honestly, I think that she is one of the best supports in the game. Now, of course, there is better out there, like Kazuha, for example, but for what she does, she's the best at it, obviously, which is she does a lot of damage, and she's able to restore energy to your party, and she's just also good for setting up electro reactions. Now, electro as an element itself is kind of weak, right? It's not actually that good in Genshin, but either way, it's still not too bad, because she does a decent amount of damage, especially if you get her free-to-play weapon, which is the catch. I don't have it here, but I have the prototype Star Glitter, which is pretty bad. It's not very good on her, but it still does a decent amount of damage, and I'm still restoring quite a lot of energy to my party. So yeah, I mean, if you can get the catch for her, she's going to be really good. Would I recommend going for her? Probably I would recommend it. It's always good to have a Raiden Shogun in your team. And for artifacts, I'd recommend a 4-piece Emblem of Severed Fate set, so you can maximize your burst damage, as well as having a lot of energy recharge to be able to get your burst up again quite quickly, so you can restore even more energy to your party. Now, she does also require your team to have some decent energy cost, and your team should probably use their burst first before Raiden does hers, because obviously not only do you restore energy, but Raiden's burst does more damage the more bursts that are being used across your party. So it also has a bit of an effect on your team. So if you've got a team that has a high amount of energy, she's perfect. If you have Eula, she's double perfect. I would recommend pulling for her. She has my seal of approval. Now, Kokomi, on the other hand, she's okay, right? She is just a healer. Now, if you need a healer, I mean, she's alright. Like, she's better than Barbara, but there are other options out there, like Diona. That's one. I don't really like Diona that much, but you can use Diona. If you lost a 50-50 to Jean, she's just as fine. Bennett, one of the best healers in the game. There's a lot of better options out there for your party. But if you really like Kokomi's design, which I mean, I do love Kokomi's design, funny fish lady, and you want a character that kind of can do damage sometimes, like, her damage numbers aren't that high, but you can try and make them pretty alright. Like, I've seen people run Kokomi as a DPS before, and it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. There's certainly better options out there, but it's not the worst. For weapons, I mean, I use Prototype Amber. I mean, HP or energy recharge is your best bet. Sadly, the Oath Eye is, even though it's her aesthetic, it actually isn't a good weapon for her, which kind of makes me a bit sad, because I actually kind of would wanted to use the Oath Eye on her, because I thought it was for her, but no. The Prototype Amber is pretty good. Thrilling Tales, again, is probably even better than the Prototype Amber, but I use this one just because, funny, haha, more healing. But if you want to actually be serious, kinda, you can use Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers. It's pretty good on her. And for artifacts, I mean, Tenacity of the Millilith or Ocean Hued Clan 4 set, they're both alright. I'm running a hybrid set because I don't really use my Kokomi that much. And then just spam healing, I guess. What can I say? She's okay. She's okay at best. She isn't the best healer, she's not the worst healer, but there's definitely better options out there. If you like Kokomi, go for her. If you don't need a healer or you don't like Kokomi, don't go for her. She probably is not worth your time. Now, as for the 4-star characters on the banner, now, number 1, Bennett. best character in the game, probably. You slap an energy recharge weapon, or a weapon with a high base attack on it. For me, it's Skyward Blade, but you can use Festering Desire if you got him in 1.2, which, to be fair, there's a lot of new players in Genshin, so 1.2 was quite a while ago, so I wouldn't assume everyone to have that. But find a weapon with a very decent base attack. I mean, no, don't use Parasite Rancor, actually, that's kind of sad. Like Favonia's Sword, I mean, just you find something with a decent attack on it, level up your Q, and then you're ready to go. I mean, I run a 4-piece Noblesse set on him, but you can also run a Maiden Beloved set, as well as like an HP set if you want to build healing. It really depends on like how you want to use your Bennett. I use it just for his attack buff, and then Noblesse to attack buff again. That's personally how I like to use it. Constellations, I would definitely go for a C1. Probably not a C6. I mean, a lot of people say C6 is pretty bad. I will agree so. It does ruin a couple characters in the game, like maybe Eula, Razor, Physical Beidou. It ruins quite a lot of physical characters, but if you're using bow characters, or actually mainly just bow characters, catalysts, his C6 doesn't matter that much. But if you're like using physical damage, then this kind of does matter a little bit. So I wouldn't recommend go for a C6, but I recommend getting his C1 at least. His C1 it's just a good quality of life improvement. You can still use him without his C1, but I would recommend trying to get it anyways because it is pretty decent. So again, must pull character. Kujou Sara, a worse Bennett. I'll be honest with you, Chief. Now, her C6 is beautiful with the Raiden Shogun. If you're like got a few constellations down the line and you got a Raiden, I'd recommend maybe going for the C6 because it does increase your Raiden's like damage numbers by quite a bit, because it increases her, your electro damage crit damage by 60%. That's a bit of a mouthful, I know, but yeah, I mean, I'd recommend C6ing her. I'm not really sure about the rest. She does feel a bit clunky personally, but that is just me. So I've not really used her that much, but if you like using electro characters, or you don't have a Bennett or a Kujou Sara, I mean, she's okay. She's an okay, like, she's a bit worse than Bennett, but she's okay. That's the most important part. Like, you press E and then aim at the floor, and then your attack boost only goes to the first character that picks it up. So, like, in rotation, probably use it just before you switch to your DPS. It's a bit clunky, but it will suffice. Mid-tier for me. Now, Xinyan, get in the bin. I can't say that. I can't say that. There are Xinyan mains out there, I'll be real. She has the highest base attack out of any character in the game. Well, out of any 4-star character in the game. Last time I checked. But the problem is I say this every time that Xinyan shows up. She scales damage based on attack percent, but then her shield's based off of her defense, and then her burst is based off of her attack. So it's sort of just a mess of what she is, because she's like a jack of all trades, but like a master of nothing at the same time. So I mean, there's two ways you can go about it. So you can either build a defensive Xinyan build, which if you build a defensive one, good luck. You only need the white blinds and just stack a bunch of defense, have a big shield. And her shield's actually really decent if you invest a lot in it. But there's also the attack, like DPS one, which is just stacking attack percent, or maybe getting something like the Serpent Spine or the Blackcliff Greatsword on her, stacking a bunch of damage, crit damage, or and making her into like a minor pyro DPS with a shield ability. She's a bit like, weird with her build paths, and she isn't the best at anything, but she's also not the complete worst at anything. She's a bit in the middle, and for that I'd say, hey, if you like Xinyan, go for it, really. Like, she's okay from my, like, trying, but again, there's a lot better out there. So, like, the common consensus with this banner is the 5-star characters, Raiden Shogun, must pull. Kokomi, if you like her, go for her. And with the 4 stars, I mean, Bennett is obviously what a lot of people will be pulling on here. And then with Kujou and Xinyan, I mean, they're just there, really. It makes the banner a bit less appealing, but I would still say you should pull on them if you really want the characters on them. Getting Bennett and getting the Raiden Shogun, or even Kokomi, it can upgrade your account quite a bit, so I would recommend it solely for that reason. But also remember that Ayato is coming soon, and then maybe Venti or Klee in the next update, I'd like to assume. So, yeah, that's my take on the banner, on the character banners at least, because there is also the weapon banners. Now, you get the you get both weapons kinda. So you get Engulfing Lightning, which is the donut. I've never heard anyone not call it the donut. Again, it's good for Kokomi, but you don't need it. Like, again, like weapons like Prototype Hamburger exist, Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers also exist, and they are just as, to me, they're just as fine, really. You don't need a Sworn Knife to make Kokomi good. But for the Raiden Shogun, Everlasting Moonglow, it is a bit of an upgrade. Like, it'll be a bit more damage than the catch. If you've already got the catch and you're happy with it, and you know, let's say, and you really like your Raiden Shogun, you have the catch, and you want to make your Raiden Shogun a bit stronger, I'd recommend the banner solely for the Everlasting Moonglow polearm for her. But, you know, if you're not using your Raiden Shogun that much, I know common logic, probably don't. Like, it probably won't be, you know, it's not the biggest damage increase in the world, but it is a nice one to have. Like, it's a nice to have, but you don't need it for your Raiden Shogun for it to do okay. So, I mean, I'd recommend the banner for the Everlasting Moonglow if you like your Raiden Shogun and you have the catch or something and you like that. I'd recommend it for that. As for the 4-star weapons, I mean, Lion's Roar, I mean, it's okay, Uncle Ching. The bow, I don't have one. Yeah, no, I don't have one. I've only got Alley Hunt. I mean, I'd assume it's probably okay. The main one is Sacrificial Fragments. It's good on Sucrose. If you like using Sucrose, I mean, go for it. Akumaru, it's a great sword. I mean, I think that's the one that increases, like, your damage based on your elemental, like, burst damage of your entire party. I mean, there's better options out there, but it's a solid Claymore. And Favonius Polearm, I mean, why am I not surprised? Every banner has a Favonius weapon. Favonius weapons are just mid at best. I mean, they're good for energy recharge, like, characters. Like, it'll be decent on Zhongli, maybe, but hey, you know what? Weapon banner, it's not as enticing as the character banner, but a couple weapons are worth it depending on how much you enjoy the characters you have already. Now, let me know down below, are you guys pulling on any of these banners? Because I probably won't, because I've already got the 5 stars already, and I don't know if I really want constellations for this, especially given the fact that I'm saving for Venti right now, and I really want to get Venti when he comes back. So yeah, that's my current take on all the banner stuff. So I hope everyone's having a great day wherever you are. Take care, and I'll see you guys in another video really, really soon. Have a lovely day, everyone, and I'll see you later.